We're gonna have a little chat with someone that is doing something very simple, but putting all her heart in her heart. So I think it can be inspiring for a lot of people. And it's for that we decided to do this live. She is not used to do live. I think it's the first one. But we're gonna see. Let me see if Ashley is here. A discussion about what she's doing and how she's doing what she's doing. So, Ashley, yes,
Hello,
yeah.
Yasmina.
Oh, great to see you.
So good to see you too.
Yeah. So, how you been?
Very well.
Yes.
Yes.
All good.
Enjoying the height of summer here in Colorado.
Yeah. Is it very hot there?
It is starting to get warm here, 90s, but it's still just beautiful sunshine and comfortable in the shade.
Yeah, it's like here, it's very comfortable in the shade, no AC yet. It's really wonderful and beautiful days. We would love some rain, but I don't know if this is coming because it's blue sky. And no chemtrail since a couple of days.
That's nice.
Right? Yes. And it's amazing. Yeah. So have you been working on your project a little bit more?
It's completed now. So it's awaiting this live, and then it's going to be boxed up and shipped to the person who it's going to. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a discussion with Ashley, and I was wondering if she was creating something with her hands, because I was saying that when you don't feel good, use your hands to create something. It can be cooking, gardening, any kind of thing. And she told me, oh yes, I do dream catchers. I said, oh, this is wonderful. And it was even more synchronicity because the day before I was in my storage room and I found some circle that I kept to do dream catcher but never took the time to do. So I was like, I'm intrigued. How do you do this? And she explained to me something. She's going to tell you how she's working on this special order, because you don't have a store and you work in a special way. I make me think a little bit how I do with my shawls. When I pack my shawls for a customer, I put intention or blessings, and when I do the package is with this state of mind. So, and what you told me made me think about that. Yeah. So if you can tell us, why did you started to do that? What did happen to you? Why you found pleasure in it, and how you discovered that you can also work this more deeply for your friend customers that are asking for special orders?
Yes. So it started with a women's circle that I was part of, and the woman that ran it, she integrated art into the women's circle as a way to be together and express together and be creative. And she shared basically the technical aspect of creating the inside web of the Dreamcatcher, and then encouraged us to create the rest of it, of whatever we thought was beautiful. Had a lot of beautiful natural materials. And that first one that I made just really sparked something in me. I just thought it was a very beautiful process. There was something ancient about it that felt like it was coming through. I used to be an interior designer, so I have a real passion for texture and textiles and color and balance. Like you, I know, have just such a beautiful aesthetic. So there was a natural mix of bringing in some of my design background. And then also I have a practice in yoga and meditation. And so what I was finding was that I wanted to bring through something deeper than just the physical aspect of the Dreamcatcher. And I started to get interest from friends and people who knew me. And they said, I'd really like one made for my daughter or somebody in particular. Someone's getting married. I'd love to gift them with this for their home. And I would ask them specific questions about who is it going to and what's up in their life, any intentions they'd like to infuse into this piece. So we'll have a discussion and talk about, well, what kind of energy would you like to bring through this piece? It's going to be hanging in their home, often a very special sacred space. And I'd like to infuse those intentions into the piece. And so I would sit with it. I wouldn't put a timeline on it. And I would infuse those intentions and words and just think about what they said about that person and allow it to marinate in my meditations. And what I found was I would come out of a meditation one day and just know, oh, it's ready to be made. It's almost like it was already created somewhere.
Yes.
And I had to tap into that space. I had to kind of get out of my own way, really, out of my own ego and thinking too much, and just allow that to come through me, through my hands, to create it in physical matter. And I started to receive, if you want to say, messages of how to create it. So it would tell me what colors that it would be part of. I would be on a hike that day and find a particular feather from a hawk that had just, fallen on the ground. I do hand beading in the center, and so there'd be a certain way the beads would come out with a number. There'll be 8 beads that come out. And I don't always know what this means personally, but I would just let it flow until it felt complete. And then I was curious about what those things meant. So I would look up what is the name, what does the hawk represent, let's say? What symbolism, or what does the number 8 symbolize, or this particular color? And so I would write this out, and just almost like a little tarot card type way of, here's what came through, here's what the symbolism is, and it may, mean something to you. And often, especially the first dream catchers, went to people I knew, and I would be able to bring them over to them, and they would open them and read the piece of paper. And almost every time they would break out in tears. It really, meant something to them. And then they would share to me what that meant.
Yeah.
And I would be amazed. They're amazed. I'm like, I'm amazed. I'm just tapping into something greater than me that's coming through. And it became this sacred piece to them that now they can hang in their space. And I'll get messages, months or years later, I still love your piece and I still feel the energy from it. And really just fun little stories. Like if it goes to a kid and they used to have nightmares, they don't have nightmares anymore, or just,
But it's supposed to do a dream catcher, it's fantastic, because this shows that the intention with what when we create, that it's just the intention of beauty and goodness. This intention is feeding the people who are seeing or being in touch with the pieces. And it's for that, the state of mind we are when we create with our hands, and especially for food, when we create, when we make a meal, when we the way we are in the moment is also in the dish we're going to eat. So it's quite interesting. I met some years ago, I went in Mexico City for a collaboration with a chef, a woman with several organic vegan restaurants in Mexico. And what was amazing, we did a collaboration with the vitalizer, the steamer that I use, and she discovered it, and we did a kind of workshop with 20 people. It was fantastic. And she told us that every time she put salt in the dishes, in the meal, in the food, every single time she bring intention of health, goodness. It's like, I cannot say automatic, it's part of our way to be. So imagine when you go to a restaurant and you have someone who cooked with this state of mind, how the food can be more digest, more fulfilling, because it just, and especially the salt, it's a crystal. So, and it's part of all the mineral that we need. So it's really, it can seem crazy, but it's very effective. And imagine every day people gonna pass by in front of this mandala dream catcher with all these symbols that came to you without knowing, that you look after. These are connected to archetypal energy, and this is feeding them, but the space as well. So it's really, nothing is insignificant. And like you said before, you felt when it was time to make it, but it was already there.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating to me. The painters, they have a white, or the writers, they have a white canvas, a white page, but the thing somewhere was already there.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. It needed to come,
Yes.
to be manifested, and it's using us as human beings to be manifested.
Yeah,
And
it's a really beautiful
yeah,
process.
yeah, it's really, really nice. So I thought that this could encourage people when they don't feel good to just take a time like that and maybe draw on a page or just fold paper. I discovered something I really love to do. I had a beautiful Japanese paper, handmade, and I was like, my hand wanted to, wrinkle it to make a ball with it. And I was, no, it's too beautiful. I cannot do that. And I say, why? You feel to do it, do it. So I was discussing with myself. So I crushed this paper like that. And I unfold. And when I unfold, I say, wow, what a beautiful texture now. And came to me to put some charcoal or sanguine, natural pencil on these little lines on all the edge. And it became something so beautiful and unique. But this was the material and maybe in the visible wanting to come. And when you do this, it's so peaceful. It brings you at peace. If you are worried and think, you do that, and after you unfold and you draw just on the edges. Oh, it's fantastic. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
a,
get into that flow state that a lot of people talk about, and everything else just drops away and
yeah,
your thoughts quiet. Yeah.
yeah. And it's by the hands, because the hands is they are directly connected to the soul. And when we let our hands working without too much thinking, no thinking, we can be amazed by what is coming on from that. It's like, make me think also of the symbolization exercise that I use to practice, and I practice sometimes, not enough, I think. I did this training of symbolization for some years in Belgium by an American woman. And it was a symbolization exercise that we do. And it's amazing. It's not to make beautiful, it's just to let come what is coming with special colors that we use, only primer colors, and with the symbol dictionary. And regarding what was coming, to letting go on the beach, yes, we can do on the sand as well. It's really nice to do on the sand actually, because we can erase after, or the waves gonna erase it. But what come on the page like that, it's direct from our invisible being, and we can have information that can help us on a specific issue that we have at the physical level, in our material. And the hand and the exercise of drawing or creating, it's like a bridge between the physical material level and the invisible. And we can get, like, you didn't know why you put 8 pearls or 8 beads or that, but it's information that are infusing, going through us. And when we have the curiosity, like you did, to go and check it out, the symbols of things, it makes even more meaning, and even more when you share with the people who are theirs, because you don't know in their story how this is resonating. And you can, I'm sure you've been surprised many times, because often a tiny thing is like totally connected with their story, and it was out of your knowledge.
Yeah. It continues to amaze me every time.
Yeah. And it's like when I have a session and someone say, oh, I just put my hand there, and suddenly she speak about something that has nothing to see apparently with the session, but and saying, why did I put my hand there? And oh yeah, I had that thing, and I don't know why you said that. I put my hand there immediately when. So after we elaborate on that, and she got more information about what was going on the leg, and we never thought that we will be speaking about this thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, where is this coming from? So it's our higher intelligences, our higher selves that are connecting. And me, I say something that triggers something in the other one that react that way in the physical material world, because it translates, because there is a need of some more information at another level. It's a fascinating process. It shows really that we are all connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's active beyond what we know, our consciousness. It's for that it's important to do this from a place coming from love, and in the same time letting do the unknown, just the pleasure to be there,
Mm-hmm.
and let do the ends. It's fascinating process.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a play. It's curiosity. Yeah, staying open.
Yeah, and also it's feed us when we do that. There are textures, like you said, natural material. That is very important about the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And the metal is an activator, if we can say as well, if you have circle of metals. So it's nice to combine all the elements, like in Feng Shui, it can be nice to combine all the elements in a piece like that. And I'm sure there are a lot going on that we don't even imagine when we create things like that.
Right. Yeah.
I'm thinking now of one of my followers who is creating art with wool or with thread,
Mm-hmm.
but big pieces. She's Native Amerindian ancestors, and she lives in Germany, and she's creating amazing pieces, all connected to the memory of the ancestors, but in her own way. Mm-hmm. I wonder how she can knit these wall pieces. Amazing.
Oh, I'd love to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can send you a link. But it's, I think, in this time where a lot of people are feeling weird, don't know what to do, everybody are having session are on the same page. I don't know what happened to me. I was like that. I don't have pleasure anymore in what the thing I was passionate about. And it's a time like that of, I always have the image of the chrysalid, the caterpillar that is transforming in that chrysalid. Everything is melting, we are disoriented, we don't know, we don't feel same pleasure in doing the thing we love to do before and all that. And it's a time like that. And it's a time to go deeper in ourselves, to be more intimate with ourselves, to fulfill more ourselves, to be able to spread, differently, um, to resonate differently, and people are going to be affected by that. So,
yeah, I think we were talking about also like bringing the sacred back in,
yes,
and
yes,
slowing down and making those personal connections versus just having everything be computer and technology. And yeah, I was moved by that when you were talking about your shawls and saying it was, it was a decision to not have it set up a certain way as a commodity on a
sure.
website or a certain page or whatever, and that you enjoy speaking to the person who's going to purchase the shawl. And that's the way I also do my art, and I want to keep it that way. I like the personal connection and the depth that I can get with that. And yeah, there just seems to be more of a yearning I see with people to connect more with the sacred,
Yes.
and slow down and having real connection.
Yeah, it is that, because with the system we are at the society level and cultural and religious, we have been cut from our from the sacred, uh, the pure sacred, the simple sacred, not something that that is purged there that we think we can never access. It's right inside of us. And the beauty of it is when we are aware of this, when we know our value about that, we let flow, and we can emanate that, and others are attracted by that, and because it's a feeling of peace, and it's beautiful to feel someone that is at peace. So we want to be like that as well. And it goes against the standard of society that is all about being successful and business thing and making a lot of money and all that. And now I think we are realizing as humans that it's not fulfilling. There is always something missing if it's not done with a sacred dimension in mind, with a sense of sacred. Something, the soul is not fulfilled. You can make a lot of money, no problem. I think this is great. It's great, but without compromise, integrity, honesty, with being true with what is important to us. How many people told me, oh, why you don't have a website? Simple, we can just click and order in the cart. I can't. It's not, for me, it's not aligned with the value of my product. I can't, with the value of the people who work on that, who made them. I cannot do that. I use technology, yes, I love it. I'm thankful because we can, spread and share what we like and what makes us happy. But where is the point where we can really stay humans, stay with what was before. I have the chance to grow when I was little girl in a very tiny community where people were sharing in between family. Oh, I made this cookie today, and I went looking at the neighbor and give some, and the neighbor say, oh, I had that. So sharing and enjoying together. And do you need help for the garden? I can, and it's nice when you can do that. And the rhythm we live, we lost a little bit that, but we can do it even in cities with our neighbors. It's not obliged to be in a small village or hamlet, and it can be everywhere, and so it's that, and this is a sacred, the simple sense of sacred, to be benevolent and to create with good intention and with good product, and it's as simple as that. It doesn't need to be really complicated things. So I think we are rediscovering that, and the sanitary crisis really helped a lot of people to reconnect with what was essential to them. And we are still in the big change process. So me too, huh? Some days I think I'm lethargic, I succeed in nothing. I'm like, but I'm observing myself. I say, why are you thinking that? You know what is going on. And it's like, it's maybe time to pause and rest. It's we are so also affected by what is going on at the collective, that the only way we can help is to be with ourselves, fulfilling ourselves, taking care of ourselves individually, and making a tiny difference at our level by just be who we are, align, integrity, loyalty, and that's it. And sure, we need money, we all need money, but maybe if we have in mind that we will, without fear, that we will have always what we need, maybe the relation to money becomes different.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting because money is liquid, and it's connected to the liquid, correspond to the liquid tissue in the body. So how are we with liquid? Do we want to keep it, to let it flow? So it's also that it's an exchange, and it's what is keep us alive. So how can we get money in spreading goodness? Maybe we will have less money, but what is less or more? You know what I mean?
As long as it's flowing.
Yes, and
yeah,
that makes you happy to have created something good. This is fulfilling beyond the money, material money thing. I'm sure when one of your customers tell you, "Oh, I'm still so happy with your creation," your heart is fulfilled. Your heart is like,
yeah.
I'm sure sometimes it can bring you to tears because it's so wonderful. And yeah, so maybe we inspire by this discussion some people to go just in the little thing they would love to do, as maybe a present to someone, a gift one made from. I have this one of my followers who did something amazing. I received many gifts of my followers. And one made, she knows about my Roadrunners family thing, and made a small tile with a Roadrunner that she drew, and she put the, how you say, she fired it, and there is a Roadrunner. And she gave me, she said, I don't know why, I felt to send you this. And she made a small, guirlande, like the Christmas thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you call this,
the garland. I think I know what you're talking about.
the garland.
Yeah.
But with little sticks from the bushes around her place. And she made a kind of, rings and rings and rings knit together like a garland. And I was, what am I going to do with this thing? But I appreciate that she took the time to knit them, together, and to attach them together. And this garland now is on one of my favorite hats.
Oh, that's a great spot
And
for
every
it.
time, and I put the hat on one of my lamp, and every time I see, I'm thinking of her,
Yeah,
how it was.
how sweet.
And this is a part, a piece of her land that is right there, because she said, I don't know why I failed to do that. I thought you would appreciate. And I have that there. And I see it every day. It's right there.
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah. So it can be tiny things that can really elevate the frequency of someone, make them happy,
Mm-hmm.
and happiness raise the frequency. And more we are individually happy, more the collective is raising as well. So there is a kind of big game at play right now about what is very hard in the world and can seem selfish to be, in this way of being happy with ourselves, happy to create beauty and all that. But it's not without power. This is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
I really do think that artists and creators are, they bring about change and renaissance and creativity and innovation, and often there's like a big push of that. I don't know if push is the right word, but they come out when things are the darkest.
But
And then there seems to be like the ship like taking
yeah,
the dark and turning it into something beautiful, or people who are going through a terrible time and experiencing loss or grief, and then through that process create the most beautiful art. It's an alchemy,
mm-hmm.
beautiful transformation of this darkness that they may have gone through, and then out comes this beautiful poem or beautiful
Yeah,
painting or whatever
exactly.
their art
But
is,
there
you know.
is a push, like you said. It's a push. It's a push from the
Yeah.
divine, because the divine is there. Look at nature. Look at us as human beings. We are part of this nature. Is pushed to create beauty, and everywhere you go where there is no human print, as it's in balance and in harmony. So how can we reflect that? How can we don't interfere with that? There are amazing architects, even if it's modern, even if it's concrete, the way they do in the landscape they work, it's in balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a question of passion that is expressed and creating something that makes people feeling good, because it's in balance somewhere. It's a push of the divine through artists to create, to manifest the divine in creations. And it can be anything. It's not obliged to be extraordinary things, but they are extraordinary, as tiny as they are. And this is the beauty of it. Because more than the piece, I think it's the intention and the life. I collect this, I have one here, these laces, handmade laces, cover bed. And recently I found one, $10 in a thrift store, perfect state. And this fascinates me, how these people who made this spent hundreds of hours on that. And it's right there. What was in their mind? And they made this by hand like that for hours and hours and hours. And for me, it's precious. It's sacred. And as much when I see one, I cannot not take it, because it's a pity that it stays like that in a box or forgotten or lost. Because look at this beauty. It's really amazing. It's really amazing how people can work
Oh,
like that,
wow. Look at that.
how it's possible.
Beautiful.
It's it's fascinating to me, because I know how to work with my hands. I know how to sew. So I'm like, wow, I did a little bit of embroidery with my grandmother and my aunt, but not like that. It's the thinnest. It's so thin.
Wow.
So it's for that I really appreciate these artifacts. It connects me to the soul of humanity, because the soul of the person who created this beauty is there. I don't know what was her life or his life, but I appreciate what has been done, really. So I guess even if the person is dead, there is a connection. There is a connection. She can feel the gratitude somewhere. Yeah. It's for that I cannot not take them, let them in a corner somewhere dusty. I collect them because
they live on in their art.
they are. So it's about appreciation, of the value of things, and this goes in a way against the mass production.
Mm-hmm.
So I could say that this is my way also to be engaged in minimizing the mass production
Mm-hmm.
and fast fashion and all that.
Yeah.
It's like, old kimonos, they are art pieces. It's architecture, perfect architecture. And it's ceremonial to wear them. It's really, and they exist. They are for sale. This one I bought on eBay. It's the oldest one I have from 1800. All handmade. The fabric is handwoven. How they do this? How they can do something so thin? You see, it's unbelievable. It's hand painted with little turtles,
Aww.
and yeah, and I'm like, I cannot not fall in love of something like that. So I think it's good for people to go more and more on these used things, to at their level minimize the mass production and pollution and all what goes with
Right.
it, and to appreciate and have gratitude. So we've been a little bit, above our subject, but it's, I think all is connected.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if some people want to have one of your dream catcher, they can contact you here, I guess.
Yeah. You can just direct message me, and then I can give information on how we can communicate further.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Be really nice. Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to add something that you have in mind?
I guess just I love to encourage people to find what inspires them. And I think everybody has their own process, but just to know that everybody can connect to that divine essence. And to just, my process is to get very quiet and to get out of my own way. But how, like you were saying, like it really is just such a healing thing and can bring a lot of beauty into the world, joy and happiness to other people. And yeah, find what that is for you, because it can be so many things.
Yeah, it can be so surprising as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You never know where it's going to come from. I didn't imagine myself making dream catchers 10 years ago. And it's just something that showed up, and to be open to it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But it was somewhere already there because you were in interior design.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's quite really interesting. It's like when I think about my path, I was model before being model, because I was model for myself. I grew in a family where my mother was a tailor, and my aunt, my grandmother, everybody was sewing. So I was used to have my clothes made by my mother. And so I continued to make my own clothes since very young. I never imagined, and my mother was telling me, you will never be able to be a model. You cannot stand in place for 10 minutes. Maybe it was like, a challenge she put on me, but I did fitting modeling for 10 years. And this is very hard because you cannot move for days
Right.
when you put the clothes on you. So, and now I see that photography that I always loved since child, modeling before being model, my knowledge about fabrics and clothes and movement, and all this brought me some years ago to model for myself my own shawl. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
all together. And
Yep.
I would never imagine I would do such a thing. So let us be surprised. But everything is already there. It's just that we are unable to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to cherish our experience in our life, because there is a seed somewhere of what we are going to. You know what I mean? It's already there. But
Yeah.
what shape it's going to take, how it's going to bloom, we don't know yet. But it's there. So maybe sometimes it's good to go back in what we liked and acknowledge that we had pleasure in that,
Mm-hmm.
that past, but there is a memory of that somewhere. What do we do with that?
Yep. I have this great memory. I think I was in preschool where we had a project where you had to create like a little construction paper person of what you wanted to be when you grew up.
Uh-huh.
And it's preschool. You're like 4. And I made myself an artist.
Ah,
And, yeah. And at the time, my idea of an artist had a little French hat, that came down, and then just a little I had a little
yeah,
paintbrush because that was my idea of what an artist was. I didn't realize at that age how many forms an artist can take. But I think about like back then, I was that young, and I knew in my heart that I was an artist
yeah.
from a very young age.
It's
And
really funny. Yeah,
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 and it's taken many different forms: pottery and painting and design and the dream catchers and jewelry, but it's all a form of art. And it's
yeah.
my little Ashley knew.
Yes. And it's funny because me, it's a different, totally opposite experience. I've always been an artist since I'm a kid. I'm creating. And I discovered I was an artist one day. It's like I was waking up. I was maybe 45. And I said, oh, but I am an artist. I did not realize before. It was like a discovery because I had an idea that artists are the big painters or,
Sure.
like these things you see in museums, sculptures or things. I was not realizing that at my level, I was an artist. It took me 45 years to discover I was an artist, creating art almost every day. So we are all at heart, we are all that because it's direct connection to the soul. And every human being that is there has a connection to his soul or her soul. So how do we express that? How do we have an intimate connection with that? And because if we don't fulfill the need of the soul, art, beauty expression, it's fulfilling for the soul. If we don't create beauty, if we don't have an art expression, often we can be depleted. The soul, we are not happy. The soul is sad. We are sad. We don't. We. It's because there is a lack of intensity, passion, and the food for the soul is beauty. So it's that when we are not deeply happy, it's because the need of intensity is not satisfied. So often we satisfy in another way, like eating too much or drinking too much or taking drugs, because it's the need of intensity of the soul. And it's we search how to satisfy that need, and we don't know that it's the need of intensity for the soul, that it's this need of, you know, and it's that all the, you know, the extreme that people are going in, it's the search for to satisfy that need. It is a basic human need. It's that. So be intense.
Be intense, yeah.
Yeah. In simple things.
Yes.
Big things. Yeah. Lose a little bit your mind going in thrift stores. Look at the things there. They had a life. Look at beauty in them. And it doesn't cost a lot, and you can create with that. You know, if I was really, I could make a kimono with that thing, but I don't want to cut it.
No.
It's so beautiful. You know what I mean?
I could cut that.
But I could, you know, I have a piece that is a little bit destroyed, one of these crochet thing. I'm going to make something out of it because it's already destroyed.
Sure.
But I said, oh, this could be an amazing kimono. I can't. So, yeah, it's not obliged to go in very expensive things. You can find material. I say thrift stores because here in the US we have a lot. And it's a way to get things cheap, material. If you know materials, you can select natural materials and recycle and do amazing things with that. This is, and it's exciting. You never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, it's a little treasure hunt.
Yes, it's that.
Yeah.
That. Okay, I don't know if we have questions.
It does look like some are popping up at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't see.
I don't know how to.
Oh, I'm trying to scroll. It's complicated for me.
Oh, I think I can. There was one.
I feel, someone said, I feel so miserable because I feel I'm at the wrong place on my life.
Oh.
Yeah, but this is what I always said. We are in a chrysalid. We are in a big phase of transformation where everything is melting. So there is nothing wrong with us. It's just that we have these phases where everything doesn't make sense anymore because we go to something new. It is to stimulate the desire. Desire makes things alive. To go, to wander, and it's because of that way when we're not feeling good, but we want to feel good, and that we're going to find something new that we cannot even imagine. So there is nothing wrong in that. It's not the wrong place on your life. It's more the time of big changes, and we are all in it right now. We have a lot of us. We are totally, even myself. I'm like wondering what I'm doing here. What is the meaning of all that? I feel lethargic. I want to go and sleep. I wake up in the morning. Sometimes I'm not depressed, but 1 hour after, I want to go back to my bed. No, it's like so. It's really. It's phase. I observe that and I smile. I say, oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. I'm in this mindset, you know. But the fact, this is one thing very important. The fact to observe this, to be aware that we are like that, it's a big step. Because it takes, we are able to take distance from the thing, and the thing is less affecting us. We allow ourselves to be like that. We don't put resistance. To allowing, it can make us going to a point where fed up of it, and then the thing gonna bloom, because we cannot stay like that anymore. So there is this push of the divine that's gonna make us suddenly, but this time of when we are disturbed like that, disoriented, it's a time that something is at work, like in the chrysalid. Something is in transformation, and it can be really painful. It can be really difficult, even in the body. Our bodies are changing very fast. The DNA is changing. The planet is changing frequency. We are obliged to follow. We have no choice. So our bodies can have pain suddenly somewhere. Nobody knows why, and they don't find anything, because it's a process of transformation right inside of us. So this is what we have to have in mind when we don't feel good, to just see that we are in process of transformation. I'm looking, any advice for someone who is artistic, but I haven't found my path because I'm only had corporate job before. Yeah, I really don't know. I don't give advices. I'm not good with that at all. I just give information, so I witness about experiences. But I don't try to maybe go on something that seems crazy to you, because sometimes maybe the things that seems crazy, it's the things that we should go and see a little bit what it is. Who knows? What do you think, Ashley, about that?
Yeah, I think pushing your edges, and even if you have a corporate job, when you're not at your corporate job, to engage in things that bring you joy, get out in nature, play again, and just see what starts to come through, even if it's not turned into a business necessarily right away. You never know what can happen. Like Yasmina and myself were saying, we never imagined doing this later in our life, but there were little seeds along the way, even when we had other ventures going on, that ultimately were watered, and then something came out of it. So I would just say, yeah, even if it's not necessarily your job right now, to go ahead when you're not at your job and explore those creative ventures.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Thank you to put this in word like that, because I'm not able to do it the same way. So it's great. It's really clear, and it's really that. It's really that. I remember this nurse I met in the desert in Tecopa, and she was undressing herself, middle of the desert, close to the pond. Everybody is naked there, and walking alone in the desert. And when she came back, we had a discussion, and she said, it's the only way for me, being nurse at the hospital. Every month I come and I do this. It's a way for me to let go all the pain I see, all the thing I go through, to regenerate myself, to be able to give back again of my time and my energy to people in the hospital. And I found this really amazing. She knew how to, fulfill herself in a way that can seem crazy for people. But for her, it was her way, and it is her way. And it's fantastic when you think that you have people like that are taking care of you in hospital. So found your way.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna, you see something?
Oh, there's one. Can we see some of Ashley's dream catchers?
Oh, yes. Oh. I told you to prepare some of them.
Let me see if I can switch the camera around a second.
Yeah.
So this is a piece that I can't get in one shot. It's quite
Yeah.
big. But this is going to a sweet little boy.
Uh-huh.
His name is Jasper. I have to say that because that center color is meaningful to his mother. Is the Jasper color, that not the green one, but more of the orange
Yeah.
red. And then these feathers were found walking around Colorado at the time I was making it, so I knew that those were for him. And that, yeah, that's one of the larger pieces, and you can see the beadwork there
It's beautiful.
coming out of the center.
Yes.
And I have a smaller piece I have right now.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, a little more simple. So it has the 2 rings, and it has the crystal in the center that creates rainbows.
Yeah.
If you have the light on it right.
Yeah.
And then more just of the natural colors.
Yeah.
And
I saw, for me, I see a woman that is embracing her head and the moon with her hair in the back and her beautiful kaftan.
I love
Immediately when I saw it, I said, oh, it's like me, embracing like that and being like that, and with my hair and a kaftan, you know, like, or kimono or something like that.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. See. Yeah, so those are just 2 pieces. Like I said, I don't keep a lot on hand because they're just made one at a time.
Yeah, sure.
And no 2 pieces are the same. And so
Yeah.
that's what I have on hand. But if you are interested, when people reach out and they may want to see more, I can send them photographs of a few more examples. Yeah.
Sure. Would be nice. Yeah. Okay. So we do like that. People can contact you, and who knows? It's an adventure for all of us.
Certainly is.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Yasmina. It's wonderful to connect with you and just share this. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the first time for you to go on live.
It was, yeah.
So
I'm pretty introverted right now in my life, so yeah. It's good to push my edges.
Yeah, it's good. Okay. Thank you so much again, and enjoy your weekend.
Yes, you as well.
Yes. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, yeah. So this was really, really nice. If you have questions, you can send me also private messages. If you want session with me, you can also send me messages for that. And thank you for watching. And I'm sure this inspired some of you. Do start by simple things, very simple things. And you will see very fast how using your hands to create something gonna really help you to get out of your mind, your brain, maybe more in the body, more in the physical, textural, organic thing, than being too mental. If the mental is negative, it can make life complicated and not peaceful. If your mental is positive, no problem, go with it. The mental is not, is here to use it properly too. But if you have negative thought or negative mental and depressed time and things, fulfill yourself and feed your soul with beauty that you can create simply. Voila. So I wish you a good weekend to all of you. And thank you for watching.